to the summit. I'm getting.
Got it. Well, I've just started the recording.
Great. See, here we go. Little clunky, you guys. Okay. Learning, still getting used to like seeing you face to face. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to the summit. This is class 1. Those of you in front of me have a workbook. Those of you at home should have received an editable workbook that you can write into. You're going to take a lot of notes. You will get a new document every week because I did not have time to edit the whole workbook before we started the program. So I will be editing as we go and distributing as we go. Okay. A couple things I want to talk about before we launch into the actual material. Number 1, you are here. So welcome. You are here and I would like you to commit, really commit. So the thing with the summit program, which I have experienced before myself, and I know Mike has experienced, is a lot of people get into the course and they get started and they don't necessarily finish because it is a lot of work, and it might be work that you're uncomfortable with. It might be work you're not used to doing. It might be activities and skills that maybe you haven't been doing for a little while and it feels awkward. And if you watched Signature Live earlier this week, Chris had this great quote that he shared, which I found out who said it, thank goodness. It's a man named Chris Williamson who has a podcast. And the quote was, "The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding." The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Thank you. Thank you. Teacher said brought coffee. Everybody say hi to Maya Grostansis.
Hello, Maya.
Those of you at home, she brought coffee. You can't do that. So maybe you should get in here. Thank you, Maya. The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. And I thought that was a really important thing to think about as you enter the summit program, because there is going to be a lot of work and maybe it's stuff you haven't done yet or you haven't been consistent in doing and it feels awkward and uncomfortable and you want to be like, I'm just going to quit. It's okay. I changed my mind, Sam. I don't want to change my business. I don't want to do the work. And so I'm going to ask you, all of you watching, all of you listening, if you're here today, I want you to commit to making it through the entire end of the program. Can you all do that?
If we can't make it, can we watch it later? It's recorded,
Yes,
right?
you can. That's a great question. You can watch it later. If you want my preference, if you like my suggestions. If you'd like my suggestion, I would like you to try to be here for every class, and I would like you to be here live. How many of you watch Signature Live on like a regular basis in the moment? How many of you, if you miss one, you're like, I'm gonna go back and watch it? And then sometimes you're like I've had this stats video because I had kids cross country open on my computer for a week and a half now that Chris did when I wasn't there. I still haven't finished watching it. I start and then I get here and then. So yes, all of the sessions are recorded. Matt's recording everything for us. You can definitely go back and watch the content again. It's a great question. I would love it if you could try to be in person here. A lot of what we're going to do as we go through this course is really this concept of like how you set up your schedule and your business, right? Because I think real estate is so reactive, right? We're doing something, we have the best intentions. This morning, I'm going to work on my database and I'm going to make some calls and I'm going to do this. And then a client calls and they're like, oh, we really want to see this house and it's really, really important. And so we go and we show them the property. Or someone calls us and they say, I really want you to come over because I'm having financial trouble. I need to sell my place. And so we go and do that instead of maybe our prospecting time. And that is how, if you can hit my slide for a minute, that is how you end up on this. What is this? Do you see what that is? It's a roller coaster. And why does the roller coaster signify what we do?
The market goes up and down.
The market goes up and down. And what happens to our business? Why does our business go up and down?
Nature of this. This is the nature of it.
What do you mean by nature, Zahur?
Nature means like if you don't have your pipeline filled in, you will see the like going down and then you fill your pipeline again, then go up. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So this is why this happens. We kind of start at the bottom and we start prospecting. So all of you in the room here, there's lots of seats at the front of front. Lots of seats here. Just watch that cord. We start here at the bottom with our prospecting. You're all here. And maybe you have lots of stuff in the pipeline and that's great too. But let's say for the purpose of the course today, we're all starting here. So we start here and we're going to start prospecting. We're going to start making calls and talking to people and doing CMAs and all of our activities. And then we start getting some momentum. We start working with clients. We get busy with buyers and sellers. And when we're busy with buyers and sellers, what happens to our prospecting? Like the roller coaster, it goes like this. And if we do it correctly, we get to the bottom here And if we've done it right, we have a nice little pocket of money. We've closed some deals, we've made some money. We're like, okay, I love this business. Yes, I made $60,000 this weekend. Woo! And then we realize, oh gosh, I don't have any more profit. And then we have to get back on the roller coaster again. And then we start prospecting again. And then our business looks like this. And that's why a lot of you, if I ask, probably, workbook back there, are you okay? If I ask a lot of you to look at your business, which we're going to do today on an assessment perspective, I think you'll find you have clumps, right? You do 4 deals in April. And then it maybe like a lease here and a blah, 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 and what have, and then you do like another QQ here, and then you have another few here. And then you'll see in your business these peaks and valleys or this roller coaster, and it's all because you're not prospecting on a regular basis. So a lot of the course is going to try to teach you how to protect that time as best as you possibly can. I know it's not perfect. I'm not asking you to be perfect. But I'm going to try to teach you to protect that time that you're working on your own business so that we try to smooth out. Like instead of like a Leviathan, we want like the ghoster coaster, like instead of like the crazy, we just want like little bumps are okay, but not really huge bumps. Does that make sense? So the answer to your question, yes, it's being recorded. And yes, I'd love you here face to face in person for all the sessions. Okay, open your workbook, please. Sorry, Matt, go back one more time. Thank you. So today we're going to talk about business planning, a typically kind of dry topic, but a topic nonetheless. So this is how the summit program works. You're going to come and see us every single week for the next 5 weeks, maybe 6. I thought the course was 6 weeks. It's actually only 5 weeks of content. Caught me off guard a little bit. I was like, whoops, got to figure that part out. So we're going to see each other for the next 5 to 6 weeks. Every week you're going to generate points. And we're going to talk about the points today. We're going to go over how you generate points. You're going to be in small groups, and you have to get points every single week. The winner gets a prize. The prize is they're going to do the most amount of business. That's the prize. The prize is they're going to make the most money at the end of the summit program. So every week we're going to do a session of content, and every week you're going to report in on your points. Today we're going to talk about business planning. We're going to talk about the 8-point roadmap. We're going to talk about your connectivity plan. We're going to run through the point system, and then I'm going to have you out of here probably by 11:30. Does that sound good? Everyone's good with that? Okay. So tell me why you got into real estate. And if you're at home on Zoom, drop it in the chat for me. Those of you in the room, put your hand up. Tell me why you got into real estate.
I love helping people. I used to be a personal trainer, but
I thought you were going to say I love money. That's what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say I love money. You love helping people.
I used to be a personal trainer, but I also love money. So that didn't have enough. So I'm here helping people and making money now.
Excellent. I love that. Okay. Why else did you get into this business? Why real estate? Of all the things you can do.
You can, I think, better control your time versus having a rigid schedule at work.
Okay.
I know it's kind of hit or miss because you're gonna be busy all the time, but I think you can have to take some more time for yourself.
Okay, I love that. I love that thought. You can take control of your time. How many of you feel like you have control over your time? It's such a juxtaposition, right? You're like, I got into this business so I can control my own time, and then your client's like, I'm free at 5. You're like, I will make myself free at 5. That's so funny how that works. Okay, so you wanna control your own time. Why else do you get in this business, Matt?
Harsh wants unlimited income potential.
Ooh, love that.
So 3 or 4 other people are money.
Great. No shame, friends. No shame. We're not publishing this to our clients. Don't worry.
Nico wanted to help her mom, who is an agent, with paperwork and stuff.
Good. Love that.
Lisa wants flexibility.
Oh, flexibility. Do we have flexibility? Okay, so what's the challenge to this business? Give me your biggest challenge.
Managing my time.
Great. Managing my time.
Yeah.
Consistency. Excellent.
Predictability, which again ties back to your points.
Good. Excellent. Excellent. Matt, some in the chat?
Yeah, Talia wants to bring some mindfulness and connection to people back to the business.
Mindfulness and connection back to the business. I love that a lot.
Terry likes no more corporate. Don't really know what that's referring to, but
That's Michael Southers when I tell him he's to do something he doesn't want to do. That's what corporate is. That's what corporate is. What's the biggest challenge to this business that I see? It is the roller coaster. This is the number one thing that I see when I talk to our vast number of people, both inside our umbrella and outside. When I talk to agents outside of Signature, the number one thing they say to me is, my business is up and down and up and down. I want to smooth out those lines. I want to build a business. I want it to be more predictable. I want to be more consistent. I want to have more systems. So that's what we're going to try to solve in just 5 short weeks. Slide, please. Okay, so here's an assessment of an ideal realtor against yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. So I want you to take 1 quick minute. If you have a pen, great. If you need a pen, let me know. I want you to take 1 quick minute and I want you to look at, where are you on this ability for yourself? So from a lead generation, booking appointments, signing contracts, developing plans for clients, taking control, how you qualify. A lot of you have come to me and said, I got a listing appointment, but I don't know if I should take it. And I'm like, okay, we got to qualify now about more than we ever really have. Ability to persuade, ability to negotiate terms, client service, how well your client experience is on the short term while you're doing the deal, and then what your client service looks like after the deal is done. So once they're not really an active buyer and seller. Assess yourself on those. You can kind of compare it against an ideal realtor, maybe arguably 10 on all across the board for an ideal realtor. Where do you think you are? Where are the biggest areas of your business you need to work on for the next, call it 14 months? You don't need to do the math at the bottom if math's not your thing. It's not really my thing either. Sounds calculator.
This took me the longest.
Right? What'd you find? What did you find? Where is the biggest area that you need to focus on? Give me your number 1. Just shout it out if you're in the room. If you're on Zoom, drop it in the chat.
Generation.
Ooh, how many of you was lead generation? Show of hands. Okay, so for those of you in Zoom land, almost the entire room. Caitlin, come on in there. Seats in the front. That's okay, no stress. Most of everybody in this room is lead generation as their number 1 place that they need to work on. Those of you in Zoom land, what's your number 1? What are you seeing there, Matt?
Pretty much lead generation, standard across the board. Azuri's new business, Annie has booked the appointment.
All right. That's why we're here, friends.
A couple more booking the appointments.
Systems, we'll talk about that today. I think lead gen is the hardest thing in this business. All of you, I know every single one of you, if I handed you a client, would do a wonderful job. No question. Every single signature realtor I know, if I said, here you go, this client wants to go buy a house, away you go, you would do a fabulous job. The hardest part is finding the clients. That's it. If we could solve that problem in perpetuity, you'd have a wonderful career. That's all we're trying to do over the course of our summit time together. Does that make sense? So on here, every day in the business of real estate, you kind of wake up unemployed, right? Like you gotta wake up and you're like, I gotta go find someone to talk to. So every day your job is to go out and meet new people and find a client every single day. On the bottom, when we talk about business planning, you definitely need a plan. I know it's not our favorite thing as salespeople, right? As salespeople, we like the people, we like the fun stuff, we wanna be face-to-face, we wanna be communicating. All of you typically are people, but we also have to have the person in the background. Like if this was a corporation, if you had a corporation and you were the people person, there'd be somebody behind you who would be like the numbers person or the ops person or that. But with our small business, you have to be everything. So when we talk about planning, you want to think about, this idea of a SMART system: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely goals. So we're going to flip around in our workbook for just a minute. And if you're at home, I want you to flip around. Matt, can you go to the business roadmap, the signature business roadmap, a little bit further in the material? Ooh, excuse me. Oy, excuse me, pardon me. Oh, goodness. Here we go. Okay, so I want you to go to the roadmap. Those of you at home, I want you to go to the roadmap. We've presented this on Signature Live a whole pile of times, but I want you to actually spend a few minutes and do this. For the purpose of our time together, this is going to be your roadmap from now until the end of 2024, okay? I know it's hard a little bit to think that far out because the market's kind of weird. You know, it's a little wonky. We got a lot of change, a lot of things moving quickly, a lot of moving parts, a lot of unrest and uncertainty in the world right now. And so I don't know about everyone else. I feel like it's a little bit tough to think to the end of next year. Like we're doing our calendar for next year and I'm like, November 2024, I don't know what the world's gonna look like. I don't know what we're gonna look like. I don't know what the market's gonna look like by then. But for the purpose of our exercise, I want you to think about this as a 12-month plan. So we're not gonna finish this today, but I want you to start making notes as we go through it, and it's gonna be part of your homework. So number one, I want you to think about mindset. Matt, if you can move the slide if you don't mind. I want you to think about mindset. If you've been consistently watching Signature Live, you've heard me say, I think this is a market of mindset. I think the only way you're going to be successful is if you think there's lots of business out there happening and that you are going to go and get it. Because there is, that is the reality. There's deals being done every single day. You're working on an assignment right now in live real time. All of you in the room, I'm sure, have stuff on the go or things you have in the pipeline. So I want us to make sure we're clear that we're not putting this negative spin on the interest rate environment and the speed at which the market has changed with our own business. Because nobody wants to work with someone in an industry, in a profession where that person is super negative on the outlook of what's to come. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if I said to you, let's go meet with a financial advisor and they said, and I don't know, like maybe you'll get 4%. I don't know what next year is gonna, you're like, I'm not feeling super confident right now in my decision making, and I'm not feeling super confident about. You guys okay there? There's seats up here if you want. You're not going to necessarily feel super confident about working with that person. And so we're the same. I don't want you to have a negative mindset about the market, which then impacts your business. Does that make sense? It's okay to be honest and factual with people. We're in a rising rate environment, although things are stable and holding right now. It happened very quickly, caught a lot of people off guard. There are plenty of people out there with variable rate mortgages that are struggling and suffering and having a hard time. It's okay to acknowledge it. And it's okay to say, but on a long term, real estate is a great investment and there's going to be lots of potential and everyone's going to be just fine in their homes long term. Does that make sense? So from a mindset perspective, I want you to just do a bit of a brain dump. We're going to do this together. Take a quick minute. What are the things that you're the most worried? What are your biggest concerns right now? And I want you to write them down. I want you to write down your biggest concerns. Those of you on Zoom, write out your biggest concerns on your document. Just take 1 minute on this piece of the puzzle. Your biggest concerns right now, is it rising interest rates? Is it global uncertainty? Is it your lack of a pipeline? Is it the economy overall? Then move on. What are you most excited about? What are you grateful for? The last one might be the most important. Why are we doing this? So that can be the biggest concern for your business. That can be the biggest concern for you personally. It's whatever you feel comfortable writing down.
All I can think about right now is the 2024 calendar.
The process of building the 2024 calendar is what my biggest concern is right now.
I can't wait to get it.
Keeps me up at night. Chris gives me anxiety and he does like a rough draft in pen. I'm like, what do you think pen? What do you think this is? Use pencil to erase and move stuff around. He's like, it's fine, use pen. Okay, I want to hear a why. Those of you in the chat on Zoom, feel free to use the chat. I'd like to hear your why. Why are we doing this?
To help people discover the opportunities of real estate and help them like achieve that.
I love that. Why does that matter to you?
Well, for me, like my family, when they first came into the country, they had nothing. They couldn't get financing for anything. My uncle invested into real estate and he built a huge business off of like self-financing through real estate.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's the why.
Yeah.
The why is to help other people who come to this country who can't get financing build what it is they want to build. That's your why. That's an awesome one. Great. What's your why? Matt?
Nico was committed to helping as many of the inner circle as possible, his inner circle.
Love that.
Carrie wants to make money and meet nice clients.
Okay, Carrie, go deeper. Go deeper on that one. Why? Why? This is why your why has to be so clear, because I'm going to ask you to do stuff in the next 5 or 6 weeks that you're like, but I don't really want to do that. I don't really like it. It's not comfortable. I haven't been doing it this far. And I'm not silly enough to think just because I tell you to means you're going to go do it. Like, I'm not that silly. Like, come on, guys. I mean, I'm going to make suggestions, but you're going to make decisions, right? So it has to be strong. I want you to have a really strong why. Look at it again. It's strong enough that if I say to you today, you're going to go knock on a whole bunch of doors and you've never door knocked before, is that something that you can do?
Harsh wants to provide a great life for his family.
Love that, Harsh.
Same with William.
Love that, William.
David wants a retirement plan for the future.
Yep.
A financial retirement plan.
A financial retirement plan. Very good. Okay, let's go to number 2. We're not going to do this one in the class. You all know my love for finances. If you're watching Signature Live, you know this is my most favorite part ever of what we do. Chris says to me, you spent too much money last month. I'm like, yeah, that's negotiable. We'll talk about it next month. It's fine. So I want you to do this part for homework, put a big star around it. I want you to have a clear picture of what your financial position is on a monthly basis. What do you need to live right now? When the market is lean, I was selling real estate in 2008, 2009, and it was unpleasant, let's call it. It was not exciting on the newspapers. Chris would hold up the newspaper at the office meeting and it would say like global financial meltdown. And he'd be like, go prospect. And you're like, okay. But there were still people that had to buy or sell. And at that time, you know, I was a little younger in 2008. I just did a whole bunch of leases. I think I did in like a 6-month period. I think I might have did like 30 or 40 leases. And it was just a way to, number one, bring in cash flow based on my expenses and what I needed to live. I lived by myself. I was a single woman. But number 2, it built more people that I could communicate with from a database perspective. So this piece of the puzzle is really critical so you can understand. I've been working with some buyers and sellers. I'm moving people along, but you know what? Based on these numbers, I need to make X this month. That alone, from a why perspective, may have you doing more open houses, knocking on more doors, doing a bunch of rentals. There is ways to make money in this business that are a little bit faster than just a traditional buyer and seller. But this is why having this information is really critical. So this is a piece of your homework. I want you to know what it costs you every single month and how close you are to that line and what that means for your actions over the next 5 weeks. Let's flip the page and go to goals and results. I'm sorry, 2 slides, please. Okay, so I want you to write out in that big white space right here. Right here. Oh, can I touch this?
Yeah.
Huh? Oh my gosh. Doesn't like me.
Oh, I probably don't have a turn on.
It's okay. Don't get up. It's okay. Sorry about it. Wait, maybe I can figure it out. Look at this. Look at the yes.
And then you have to clear it by hitting the white button on the left-hand side. Left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a menu at the bottom. There should be a wipe option to delete, like a trash can button. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Look at that. See, I can learn things, you guys. Okay. In this big white box there, write out your goal. I want to see number of deals over the next 12, 14 months, or I want to see GCI. Those are your 2 choices. And I just want the next 12 months. Don't worry that it's not a year. Don't worry about awards. I don't care about all that nonsense. Write it down. Number of deals or GCI. Those of you at home, same thing. If you feel brave, Zoom land, drop it in the chat. If you're feeling brave, drop it in the chat. The next 12 months, 10 deals. GCI, Story Sue, that's gross commission income. GCI, gross commission income. Before your expenses, before your broker split, before you pay for staging, that top line number your business generates. By the way, on the finance side of things, that's not all your money. We won't talk a lot about that today, but don't forget that piece. Pay the tax man. Don't forget that part. Okay, lots coming in through the chat. 300,000, 10 deals, 150,000, 18 deals, 200K, 5 in the next 6 months. In-person group, anyone want to share number of deals or GCI? What's your goal?
Okay, so do you want me to do it for individual or because we're a team or team?
Individual.
Okay,
just
so
yours.
individual, I would say like 25 deals
Great.
and I guess minimum 250K.
Great.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, 250 as well.
250. 12 deals. What's that?
450.
450. Woo. $500,000. Don't be shy.
I'll do 50 deals next year. Wow.
Okay.
One a week.
Okay. Are you a single man, Oliver?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because if you're not, you will be. Either that or we're gonna have to get your partner a real estate license. Those are the choices. Either you have to be with a realtor or you have to be single. There's not a lot of flexibility in that situation. Anyone else want to share GCI number of deals? Annette Vance?
I'm thinking like 2025.
Come on. 2025. And Advance, how long have you been licensed?
15 years.
15 years. So, can I put you on the hot seat?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how many of you on Zoom, Matt, keep track or in the room have been in the business longer than 15 years? How many have been in the business longer than 10? Show of hands. Okay. So, those of you in the business longer than 10 years, your number should be a minimum 20. I'm going to be nice, but I'm going to be like pretty clear with you. Because those of you that are newer in the room don't have the luxury yet of getting compounding activities. Annette does a tremendous job with her database and has done big events and small events and clients' birthdays and baby gifts and weddings and this and that. And there is so much goodwill already built into the people she's connected to. Same thing with you, same thing with you, same thing with you, same thing with you, Miss Maya. Part of the challenge is that when you're not as face-to-face with them, they just forget. But they haven't forgotten like they're now going to go work with Dana. Sorry, Dana. It's not that you lost them. You're just not as top of mind. And so as soon as you start doing the work and doing the work and doing the work, minimum 20. Minimum 20. Minimum 20, Niku Sharma. Andrew Walker.
I should scratch this up.
You should. Sari already has her number written down. Those of you that are less years in the business, there's a real, I think it's really important to understand. I feel really passionate about this idea of comparison syndrome, right? It's really tough for us as realtors for sure, right? Because we see everybody. We see, at awards night, we see who's where, and we see on social media who's doing what, and we sit in this room and we listen to this information, and it's really hard not to get caught in that comparison. But what I will tell you is there is a real difference between those of you in the room that have been in the business less than 4 years versus someone who's been in the business for 15. And it's not that it's easier for Annette or anyone else. It's not an easier conversation. She just has a bit more of a start because she spent so much time and effort already on this group of people. For the rest of you, what I want you thinking about is this is what your goal is. You're trying to get to the point where you have 150 or 200 or 250 people that you can call, you can text, you can email, you can pick up the phone. They know who you are. They know about your family. They know your history. You know their family and their history. And you don't have to be the only realtor they know. You don't even have to be the realtor they would work with. They might have a family member. They're like, oh, my aunt's been a realtor for 30 years. My mom says if I don't work with her, I can't come to Thanksgiving. Fine, work with your aunt. But maybe I would be the realtor you would work with if you had friends moving, or if you had investor clients looking for pre-construction, or if you had first-time buyers and your aunt doesn't want to go run around and show condos downtown. That's what you're trying to accomplish. But those of you that are more experienced in the room, I want you to put that number. I want a stretch number, okay? Those of you at home, do we have anyone at home that's been in the business longer than 10 years?
We've got Colette 30 years,
Colette, that number better be 20.
Nico 20 years, Julie 33 years.
Julie Border, I'm looking at you. Your number is going to be higher than that because you're feeding a team too.
So Sam, what's your thoughts on less than 4?
Less than 4 deals or less than 4 years? Less than 4 years. That's really what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. Remind me when we get to the trifecta, okay? So on this, can you go to the next page?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to erase my thing here. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, there you go, perfect.
Thanks. So on this page here, those of you, this is a weird page, I'm sorry. This should actually have an extra box. I didn't draw this properly. This should have an extra box here, okay? So over here, that's really what this should look like, okay? So this should be 2023 where you're tracking this. So you want to look at this year. If you haven't had a great year this year, do last year. If you've been in the business 24 months, just lump it all together. It doesn't really matter, but you're looking for patterns, right? You're looking for patterns of where your business is coming from. You've heard me talk about this and we're going to talk about it today. This concept of the trifecta. So repeat, referral, and new, which we're going to come to in a minute. But I want you to know in the last few years of your business, where are things coming from? Because that's going to help us determine where we need to go to move forward. Those of you that are newer are probably going to have more of the new business sources, door knocking, cold calling, online leads. Those of you that are experienced are almost always the opposite, which is kind of funny. So if I asked Annette or Niku or Andrew or Caitlin, where is your business coming from? Almost all of it's going to be repeat and referral or farming. Repeat and referral, repeat and referral, repeat and referral.
All repeat, referral.
Repeat and referral.
Yeah.
So experienced people have this great opportunity in the new business side of things, which I'll talk about. Newer people have more option on the repeat and referral side. That's where you're going to pick up more steam for yourself and pick up more deals. Make sense? Okay. So for homework, I want you to do some review. We don't have to do this on the spot. It's going to take us too much time, but I want you to do this for homework where you can sort of look at and figure out where is my business coming from right now? Where are those gaps? That's going to help us determine the plan going forward. I'm going to erase that because I don't think you can slide without it. Okay, slide. Okay, then you can break this up. If you're really into numbers, you can break this up. I got to be honest, you guys know, I'm not a super numbers person. I really study. Like when you ask me a question about the market, you're like, how's the market? Because I've studied for like 2 hours. I watched live with Chris, and then I watch it again, and I look at the charts, and I go back to the old sections, and I watch the urbanation reports again and again. This for my brain, I'm like, okay, great, yeah, right. But if you are a numbers person and you would like to know your goal divided up by yearly, monthly, weekly, daily, you can do that depending on how deep you want to go on it. Sometimes this will motivate you. Sometimes it depresses you. It just depends on your personality and who you are as a human. But this is something you can spend some time with. The other thing I do want you to think about that I would like you to track is this conversation here, listing sales and buyer sales. So I do want you to have a breakdown of the number of listings you've had versus the number of buyers you've worked with for really just one reason, and that's cost. Everyone in the room knows when you have a listing, we all want listings because they're easier to manage. You're not running around showing property, but they're also really expensive. You've got to put the staging and the marketing and the photos and everything else. And if you're at a point in your business where you're like, I don't know if I can shell out $5,000 for every listing I'm going to take on and it maybe not sell, this is something you want to think about when we go forward in your plan. Does that make sense? Slide, please. Okay, Matt, flip through these. I think we're going to skip strategy. We're going to come back to this on the rest of our workbook. We're going to come back to these pieces of the puzzle. Number 5 is learning. I'd like you to commit for the next 5 weeks to come on to Signature Live. I know that means it's a lot of learning for you and it's a lot of content because you're going to be here with me once a week. And I'm okay if you watch the recording. You can put it on as a podcast in the car when you're driving around. We really are passionate about Signature Live for a few reasons. But I think it's relevant to kind of talk about it here under this learning side. What I know for sure is that people that are really successful in their business, not real, like outside of real estate, just in general, are typically very successful because they learn. They continue to improve. They go to conferences, they work on their craft, they listen to great ideas, and they share things. And we have this luxury as a company of having all of you and all of you at home and everybody in our firm who's dedicated and smart and committed and passionate and working on things and sharing ideas. And so Signature Live is the way that I take all of this and I listen to the management team, because we meet twice a week and we have conversations, and we put it into this format of like, here are all the things I want you to know right now. This is what matters right now. So if you look at the calendar and you're like, I don't know if that topic really speaks to me. I don't know if I'm that interested in learning about MPAC. I don't know if I care. That's okay. The first 15 minutes where Chris talks about the market, and I might have heard something from somebody and I go, I've got to make sure I tell everybody that. You're going to get one thing from every episode. That's it. That's all you're looking for. You're looking for one thing. You're looking for confirmation you're on the right track, or you're looking for one thing you haven't heard before, or one thing you have heard that you're like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that. Okay, yeah, I got to go do that. That's all you're looking for. So I'd like you to commit to trying to be on the show over the next 5 to 6 weeks. If you can get there live, great. If you can't, listen to the podcast, put it on in your car, turn it on while you're, making dinner or doing the dishes or whatever it is you're doing. But try to get into that rhythm of getting on twice a week, because I know the agents that are consistently arriving in person or on Zoom to watch it tell me it makes a big difference in what it is they're accomplishing. It's not just because I host it. It's because I know it does make a difference, and I'm trying to share as much as I can with you, and Chris is trying to do the same thing. So that's my perspective on learning.
A couple people would like to know how to get us a podcast.
Okay. You want me to tell them that? Because I don't know how to do it. Okay. Can you?
I'll find
There's
out.
a lot.
Email them.
Thank you. Yeah. Can you? Kiana has the link.
I think Darren made a note in the comments there too, on how to get it.
Hi, Darren. Everyone say hi to Darren Parrott, manager of Hugh Donald's office. Hi, Darren. Can you get? I think Kiana's on the call actually. Kiana, if you're listening, can you in the follow-up email from today's information include the podcast? I'm just the talent. Slide, please. Okay, now let's talk about my message. So this is, whoops, it's okay. This is the message. This is why people are going to do business with you. So I want you to spend a minute and think about what this is. You don't need to do all of this right now, but I do want you to think about it. And this ties in a little bit to your why, right? When you have a message of like, this is why I'm committed and passionate about the business, I think people really relate to that. I think they really connects them to something bigger than just you being a realtor. It doesn't have to be crazy, longly written or full of detail. It can be something pretty basic, but what is it that you're trying to talk to? What is it you're trying to attract? Who are the people you want to work with? How many of you have done a deal with a client where you're like, man, I don't ever want to talk to that client ever again, ever. I'm going to delete them from my database, because if they're a pain in the butt, guess who they know? Other pains in the butt. Now, if you're the kind of person that's like, that stuff doesn't bother me, that's okay, great. Stick with it. But we all know we've done business with someone who we haven't loved the experience with. And so who are you trying to do business with? What's your target market? Who are the people you're trying to talk to? What is it you're trying to say or share? I believe really passionately as an organization in having the best realtors in the industry, because I know there's a lot of not good ones, right? You've all done business with them. You've all, negotiated with them. I have an agent right now in the West office who's trying to put a deal together with a realtor who's a broker of record for a very small brokerage. So there's no other way for us to go, right? Like normally if there's a problem and an agent calls in to complain about somebody, it comes to a manager and the manager gets involved and we try to find a solution. There is no, and this agent, we'll call him agent, is communicating with her client directly because her client went into the open house and left their information. And even though we have said we have a BRA and we have given it to him and we've submitted an offer, he is still calling our client directly to have conversations.
How did they get enough?
At the open house. At the open house. And at the open house, the client stayed an extra 15 minutes and said to the agent hosting the open house, do you mind, are you able to stay another 15 minutes? My dad's on his way and I just want my dad to see the house really quickly since you're already here. And so now this agent is saying, well, because I showed the property to your client, I also want 1% of your commission.
Oh, that happens a bit sometimes.
So my message and why I want people doing business with me is because that makes me insane. Now she won't let me call it. She's like, no, you can't call because you're gonna tell him like a piece of your. I was like, I'll be very professional, but I am gonna tell him that we're going to have a problem. But my passion, my why, my message is that I don't want agents like that working for Royal LePage Signature. It's not behavior that I have any interest in having in our company and in our firm. And so my message is I'm looking for professional full-time realtors who want to make this their career and their business. That's it. It's not complicated. It's not fancy or flowery. But I don't want agents like that coming anywhere near us. I'm not interested. I'll let you know how that story pans out next week. Remind me and I'll tell you. See if we can get the deal over the finish line. Slide.
Sam, quick question.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm having a hard time comprehend this. So am I trying to define my client demography as in these are the clients that I want to work with, or is it my message? And if it's about my message, then how do I get it out to my client?
Yes, both. Good question, Shay. Thanks for asking that. So you want to think about who is going to resonate with you and what the messages you're giving to them, right? So let's say, for example, your target market is you want to work with mostly investors. Then your message to them is going to be somewhere along the lines of, you know, you want to help people build equity, you want to help them make money, and maybe that matters to you because that's what you've done for your own family. So you're going to craft a message around that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let me give you a practical example. Right now, of course, there's a lot of chatter, and I'm not going to comment publicly, but there's a lot of chatter right now around the Ontario Realtor Wellness Plan. Yes? Everybody has lots of different opinions on it. I'm not an insurance professional. I've never had insurance. I don't know like what's good or not. I have no idea. There's no concept to me of what it is. And people have said, well, are you going to make a public comment? Are you going to comment publicly or say whether you support it or not? And I said, not really. It's not really my place to do that. I'm not in charge of it. There's nothing I can really do to elicit any kind of change. My message, my people are full-time professional realtors who want to make this a career, right? So I personally think, if you want my opinion, depending on if it impacts your other insurance plan, if you have other insurance and what that looks like, I don't think it's a bad thing for everybody in our business to have a bit of a safety net. Now, if it's a good safety net or if there's value there, I don't know. I don't know enough about insurance. I haven't looked enough into it to really know that. There's another brokerage that primarily supports part-time agents that do one deal a year, and they have come out and said, we are against this. We don't think there's any value. We don't think our agents should have to pay for it. Because the group of people that they are servicing are not really interested in spending $700 a month for a service when most of them have full-time jobs and they're really only doing real estate part-time. My message is different to you than their messages to their people because we're servicing different parts of the market. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So your message is going to kind of depend on who you're talking to. Some people have come in and said to me, I don't want to work pre-construction. I don't want to work with investors. I don't want to do assignments. I don't want to get involved in that. So then your message is going to be different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Execution. I'm not going to spend too much time here. Gen V, what's our favorite execution quote?
Procrastinating perfectionism.
Procrastinating perfectionism. What does that mean?
Means I won't do anything unless it's perfect.
How many of you won't do something until you know you could do it perfectly? Yeah. How many of you on Zoom don't want to do something unless you know you can do it perfectly? Last night, my daughter and I was putting her to bed, and I said, babe, how come you didn't go try out for flag football? And she's like, well, because I'm not good at it. I said, well, how can you not be good at it? You've never done it before. And she's like, well, obviously I've never done it before, so I'm not going to be good at it. And I was like, okay, we're a little bit of a chicken and the egg situation here right now. We have to try it to see if we can get better. So we, of course, have this whole conversation. And then she gets mad, like little kids do. Stop telling me what to do, Mom. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll stop talking. And so in my house, we do this thing where we say, what was the best part of your day and what was the worst part of your day? So she says, what was the best part of your day? And I said, having this conversation about flag football with you. And she was like, Mom! And I'm like, I can't help it. But Procrastinating perfectionism is this idea that we won't do something until we know we're really good at it. The only thing I want you to write down here under activities I need to execute consistently, what are the things you're not doing right now because you're not doing them because you don't think you can do them perfectly? What are you not doing right now because you don't think you can do it perfectly? How many of you are not doing video because you don't think you can do it perfectly? How many of you are not doing video because you don't like the way you sound or the way you look or the way you show up or the way all of that nonsense? Oh, yeah.
Okay, so hold on. So I know everyone, we've lost power at the office. The laptop is the only thing on right now. So, and the Wi-Fi is still on because the Wi-Fi is hooked up to a generator. So we're good. But no one can see Sam.
Plugging a light.
Like, no, there's no power. Like this is running off battery power for the laptop, right?
Yeah, guys, it's like a concert. Everybody get your flashlights on your phone, uplight my face, and we'll just keep going. Well, they can hear you.
Well, hold on. What's the sound like at home, guys? Can you hear us okay? Like, is the laptop mic picking everything up? They can hear. They can hear us. They can
see your slides.
You guys can still see the slides, right? Yeah, they can still see the slides. Yeah, they can still see it. So here, look, they're all.
Okay, friends. So you're just not going to hear me, okay? Is that okay with everybody? No more procrastinating. This is okay. So we were on execution. This is, my friends, the definition of imperfect execution. This is the secret of getting things done.
Are you okay with this?
I'm totally fine. Yeah. Thank you. I am the kind of person who I move quickly. You all know that, and I do a lot. I have little kids. They play sports, run around. I am sort of the kind of person. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Want to sit beside me?
I'm just
Can't
gonna
hear
turn.
Sam.
Well, because the laptop
it's
wasn't near you,
right,
right?
okay. Got it.
So.
Better. There we go. Now you look how. Oh my God! Look at Halloween. Look how terrible.
I know,
my
because
face
there's
is.
no, it's dark, right? You can read the
Yeah.
chat here, okay?
Yeah,
So
okay.
turn off the attendee list.
That's okay. I can see them.
Okay.
Okay, can you guys hear me? I'm talking on the laptop. You can kind of see my face. It's dark. I look terrible. Oh my gosh. Good thing we're not signature living like this. Everybody in the room, the camera's like down here into my chin and my face is dark and I look like it's like it looks like a horror movie. Thank you, Julian.
So
It looks like a horror
the
movie.
camera's right there.
Okay.
That's why.
All right, so let's keep rolling here. This is the definition of imperfect execution. This is what I want you thinking about. It's kind of funny this happened today. People often say to me, like, how do you get so much done? And it's because I try to get rid of the perfectionism thing. And sometimes Chris and I have debates about it where, he'll say like, well, there was a typo on the slide. I'm like, oof, I know, I caught that. I try to get everything right as often as I can. But if I have the choice of making it perfect or getting it done, I just get it done. That's the only thing I think you can do if you want to do more. I don't know the best way for you to move forward on execution, but what I know for sure is if you're doing more. That's it. You have to do more. In some way, shape, or form. You have to push yourself past your discomfort on video. You have to push yourself past, I don't want to call people. I feel like I'm bothering them. I don't want to. If you were on Signature Live yesterday, you would have heard Tristan Clunas say when he was doing his pumpkin pie drop-offs, he went and saw 120 of people he's connected to on his serial or his database. And when he came in to see me, he said, Sam, I don't really want to do this. And I was like, I know. I didn't want to come in the office today. I didn't want to host Signature Live yesterday. My kids are a handful right now. Everybody's tired. It's like we're back to activities. Everyone was crying on the way to school yesterday. I had coffee because we ran out of coffee because I read right on the list. We all have to do stuff we don't want to do every single day. The key isn't wanting to do it and starting. The key is starting, and then you'll want to do it. So execution is a key piece of the puzzle. I apologize, you all face-to-face aren't going to slides. Oh, Matt, I'm sorry. I think the Zoom went down.
I'm still on my phone and I still can't show my end.
Okay, this went down, so I don't. Okay. Let's see.
They're all saying they can hear you.
Oh, okay, so it's just this screen that's done, so it's fine, I'll just teach out of the workbook.
Oh, okay, so I think I see. I'm not
If
too
they,
sure.
okay.
But they're still chatting. They can all hear you.
Okay, as long as you can hear me, you won't be able to see the slides. I can't advance slides, so we're just gonna go on the workbook so you all have the workbook. Okay, so I want you to turn back to the trifecta. We're gonna go to 12:30 and then everyone's gonna leave. So you can we just have a little bit more time and we're gonna get through here. How are we doing on time? What time? Oh, 11:54, okay. All right, so let's talk about the trifecta. That's this little circle here in your book. So the trifecta is this concept that if you want growth in your business, you should aim for equal areas in all three parts. So if we go back to that part on your roadmap where I said assess your business from last year, and you look and you say to me, okay, Sam, last year I did 9 deals. I'm terrible at math. I did 9 deals. I did 3 repeat, 3 referral, and 3 new business. That means you have a balanced business and you are on track for growth. What tends to happen is you come in and you say, I did 9 deals last year, 6 were repeats, 3 were referral, 0 were new. And what that tells me is that if you have a lot of repeat business, you've been in the business for at least 5 years, and you have clients that like you and they're happy and they're satisfied. But if you're not getting the same amount of referrals, you haven't built advocacy in your business. And advocacy comes from one-to-one communication and connection. It comes from the fact that I know Caitlin has a 2-year-old daughter. I know her mom loves to take the baby. I know they have a cute little name for her that's escaping me right now, Lola, that I should have written down somewhere that I would have if she was actually a client of mine. Advocacy comes from Caitlin knowing if she gives out my name to someone she knows, Caitlin is sure I'm not going to screw that up. And she's going to look bad. If you're less than 5 years in the business, you probably aren't going to have a lot of repeat because people aren't moving every 2 years. They're usually moving every 5 years, right? But you might have a lot of new business where you're doing open houses, you're knocking on doors, you're cold calling, you're doing as much of that stuff as you possibly can to build your database. And that's okay too. Those of you that have been in the business a little bit longer, at the very least, you should start to strive for equal parts of repeat and referral. If you have more referral business than repeat, that's usually a reflection of the length of time you've been in the business and your clients just aren't moving on yet. Make sense? Yeah. That's the idea behind the trifecta. The new business category is farming, open houses, cold calls, door knocking, Facebook groups, and community. A few notes on new business. New business is the most expensive to generate. It takes the longest. There's typically very little leverage. And that's why a lot of us don't want to do it, which makes sense. But your database over time shrinks. Why does it shrink over time? But why does it shrink?
Yeah, and you don't make a new contacts and you don't call them again and again, right? So it's like
You're weeding out the people who aren't really using it.
Okay, so we're not Hi, guys.
Okay, can you guys hear us again?
Can you hear? Yes, okay, okay, good. All right.
Now for the presentation.
Okay, so those of you at home, I know it's a little bit spooky. Trust me, it's spooky seeing my face looking like this. I'm like, my God,
Okay.
I need more Botox and a little bit of a suck this fat out of my chin. Okay, so those of you at home, I just sent the group face to face just to grab a quick glass of water and use the bathroom because we were trying to get you guys back on. So don't go anywhere. Okay, so
I
let's
really
keep
don't know.
hotspot.
I don't think we've lost. So no, we're still on. We're still on the internet.
So why does this keep freezing?
I honestly don't know. Okay, we're back again. But I don't really know what I'm afraid of.
Okay, guys, just bear with us, okay? Because there's no power here, and so we're trying to hotspot to keep the meeting running. So just bear with me for a minute.
I think it's as soon as I try to share the screen
Okay.
that we start having.
It starts giving us a problem with the share screen. Okay, so we can probably, everybody at home, I think we're gonna skip the share screen and we're all just gonna work out of the
I'm just not
workbook.
gonna touch it.
Okay, we're just gonna try to leave this page up.
Yeah.
And if we need to, we're gonna stop screen share and just try to keep the audio live so you can hear me. And then you can just use your workbook to go through things. Okay, everyone's perfect. Okay, you're all still here at home friends. Say hi if you're here.
Okay.
Hi if you're here.
Okay, so
The problem solving and
this
pivoting that's
is,
happening
this
is
seems to be
remarkable.
stable. Just let's not touch it.
My guy Matt, I can always rely on my guy Matt. My guy Matt is always here for me.
So I'm keeping it live essentially,
Okay.
right? So if you crash, we can just, no one's gonna get booted. So,
Okay, everybody. So Matt's running the call from his phone. So if I go down again, just stay put, okay? And then we will get this part back up. Nice to see you all. Say hi if you're here. I see Talia. I see Danny. I see Raina, Harsh, Nico, Cabe, Elena, William, Chris, Vanel, Larissa, Moscan, Dakota, Nima, Anna, Hala, Garish, Kobu, Carrie, Jen, the consummate professional. Matt's the consummate professional. I'm standing here being like, oh, Nikki, Harriet, nice to see you, Harriet. Lisa Nguyen, nice to see you. Reminds me of Romper Room, no doubt. Was that the one with the racket? Did they have a tennis racket? What did he have in his face? It's a thing? Yes. What was the tennis racket for? She looked through it. Why? Wasn't it a man? Oh, I might be a little young. I might be a little young for ball. Kidding. Kidding. This is great. Ooh, good to see you. Come right back, you guys. Hi. Good to see you. How's everything going?
I'm trying to attend since morning. My daughter, she put box steak inside.
Oh no.
Then she's bleeding.
Oh no.
Yeah. The morning, like I took her to the clinic. Yeah, she's okay. Yeah. I put her steak and everything right away.
Okay, good. Are you safe? Saving our best.
Oh my God.
All right. Nice to see you. Thank you. Very well. Yeah. It's gonna be a great course. I'm really excited. Okay, everybody. They're telling us we have to vacate. should we take our show on the road? They're saying we have to leave the building, you guys.
Better go help my mom with that baby out there.
Oh, yeah, you should, let's see that baby down here.
Okay, she's sitting there eating her food.
It's great, good.
Oh, and then I get out.
Do we have to leave?
What's wrong with why it's power going
Do it from the parking lot.
everywhere?
Not just here.
Oh, so is it like, remember that one summer where the power went in?
Well, I'm hoping it's not that extent.
We'll lose the UPS that's running the Wi-Fi right now. Give or take probably half an hour before the batteries dry. So we will lose the Wi-Fi eventually.
August.
Okay, guys, and apparently the power's out in the whole neighborhood. Property management's telling us we have to vacate the building. I'm sitting today.
Yeah, I think the outage is widespread.
Can I just stay here? What do they want to say?
Through the laptop. But we've lost it.
I know, but I can't leave everybody. Okay, can you buy me 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're not
let's
gonna
get everyone
copy
back
this
in.
out.
Okay, come on, everybody, we're gonna move a little bit, okay? Okay. Okay, friends, in the room, this is where we're at. You can make a decision. This is for real. I make suggestions, you make decisions, okay? Not kidding around. They're asking us to vacate because the power is out and they're saying it's a safety concern. If you feel you're uncomfortable staying and you'd like to leave, I understand that. I'm not gonna hold it against you. You can catch the replay. Everything's gonna be fine. I can probably get through the rest of what we need to in 10 minutes. So if you're comfortable making it the 10 minutes, then we can just get that done and then everyone can go. But if you feel uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form, there's no shame in saying I'm gonna get out of it, okay? You are not, no, except for you. You're corporate, so no, you're gonna wait online. Nico, is everyone here? Can everyone on Zoom hear me right now? Yes, okay. All right, so Zoom friends, we're gonna get through this in 10 minutes because they're asking us to vacate the building. So we're going to, Steffi, come to the front here. Michael, can you get all the staff out of the building?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so we're gonna get through this in 10 minutes and then everyone is going to get out of the building. They're asking us to vacate. If you feel uncomfortable, Matt, are you okay staying? If you feel uncomfortable, you can go, okay? Okay, all right. Okay.
It's so annoying. We go stand outside and come back in.
God bless them. Yeah, they're asking us to vacate. So if you feel uncomfortable, vacate. Otherwise, I'm gonna take 10 minutes. We're gonna get through the connectivity plan. We're gonna talk about points and then we're gonna go. Okay, is everybody ready? All right, here we go. So I want to talk about the connectivity plan. You have heard me talk about this for a long time. It's not a new concept. And I've joked and made all kinds of jokes, and Chris is going to get me a t-shirt. If you do nothing else with your course, just getting this done and having a focus on it is going to make a difference in your business. Every agent that I talk to on a semi-regular basis that is working a connectivity plan is having a great year. Full stop. And a lot of you in this room are the same. And when I say you're working a connectivity plan, I don't mean it's perfect. I don't mean, you know, the next 4 months that you have planned, you execute flawlessly on every single thing for 4 months. That's not what I mean. What I mean is you have a plan, and when you get off track, you get back on plan. You get busy working with clients and you didn't do 120 pumpkin pie drop-offs, even though it was in your plan. Don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be mean to yourself. I tell my kids all the time, don't be a bully. Don't talk to my kids like that. Get back on track. What can you do? What can you do for the rest of October? It's halfway through. Could you have something for Halloween? Could you go talk to your neighbors? Could you put a little business card when the kids are trick-or-treating? Maybe you don't celebrate Halloween. What else could you do? The connectivity plan is the way that you're going to smooth out those ups and downs in your roller coaster. Make sense? Okay, so here's how it works. And you've heard me talk about it before, but the foundation is you're going to pick one thing and deliver it 3 different ways every single month. So on this page here, where it has the monthly initiatives, you're going to go through and you're going to pick these things. And if you didn't have a chance to come on to Signature Live yesterday to listen to Tristan Clunas, you want to go back and watch that episode, because we talked to Tristan about his initiative, and it was interesting to hear Chris talk about it, because Chris, rightly so, said, I don't think pumpkin pie drop-offs would be my thing. And let's be honest, I really don't think it's his thing either. I think if he showed up at my house with a pumpkin pie, I'd be like, what are you doing here? Like, what is this? You know, his thing is like, as he's running out the door right before Christmas for his holiday, he walks into my office and he puts a bottle of wine down and he's like, thanks for all you do. And I'm like, no problem. See you next year. That's it. That's the extent of our pumpkin pie initiative, is a bottle of wine on my desk. You have to pick what's for you. Okay. The whole magic of this plan is you have to pick what's for you. You don't have to do pumpkin pies. I don't care what you pick. There are so many options on this page, and there's probably more I haven't even listed. You need to choose the ones that resonate with you. So, Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Emmanuel, when we started this call about our why, and Emmanuel said, I want to help people build wealth through real estate because when we came to this country, we didn't have anything, we couldn't get financing, and now we've built a life for ourselves. So maybe in his initiatives, he's going to do a how to buy real estate in Canada for newcomers seminar. And he's going to deliver that in person, because in person is one way. Remember, 3 different ways, one way. And then maybe he's going to make sure he calls everybody on his database that he's invited to make sure they saw the invitation. The call is the second way. And the invitation via email is the third way. Does that make sense? One thing, 3 different ways. And the reason you have to pick 3 different ways is because if all you do is send out an email and then host an event, no one's going to come.
I'm sorry, Sam, can you repeat that?
Yes.
I just learned something.
One thing, 3 different ways. So the seminar is the initiative. It is the thing on the plan. It is an event. So that's way number 1. You send out an email. That's way number 2. And you make calls. That's way number 3. And the reason you have to do all 3 is because if all you do is host the event and send out an email, no one shows up. We get so much information flying at us through this thing on a regular basis that you're competing for people's attention. It has to be 3 different ways. So you're going to pick in here what you want. Now, for those of you experienced connectivity planners, because there are some of you in the room, here's the second phase of this. Your plan should rotate a real estate piece 1 month and a fun or non-real estate piece the second month. So I don't want you to have, you know, pumpkin pie drop-offs, and then, you know, a fun fair, and then, you know, pictures with, you know, family photos. And then you have to have some real estate content. And by real estate content, I mean CMAs, I mean market updates, I mean buyer, seller, investor, new to Canada seminars. You have to have content in there that's not just the fun pumpkin pie stuff. When you heard me talking to Tristan on the call yesterday on Signature Live, I said, now that you've done all of that, and he and I have had extensive conversations, now you have to go back and call every single one of those people and have the real estate conversation that's going to come up, because they're going to say, that was so fun. Thank you so much for the pie. And he's going to say, no problem. How are you guys doing? And they're going to say, we're great. How are you doing? How's the market? And there's your in. And so for the rest of the month of October, the next thing on his connectivity plan is the follow-up calls from the pumpkin pie drop-off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many of you, no shame in the game, how many of you have not done any kind of connectivity planning yet? It's okay if you haven't. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Thank you for being honest. So for those of you that are kind of still figuring this out, for homework, you're going to pick the next 4 or 5 months. Those of you experienced connectivityers, or those of you that feel like, I got this, I know what you're looking for, I'm ready to go, you can do the rest of this year and all of next year. Okay? One, very good, Aussie. 1 initiative per month, 1 thing. And again, if you're experienced at this, you want to pick 1 real estate thing and then 1 kind of personal fluffy thing, right? So let's say right now we're in October. October is a good month for the personal fluffy stuff, right? Thanksgiving, if you observe that holiday, Halloween, if your kids celebrate, even just like a fall long weekend, something or other, right? Then next month might be CM. December, because it's holidays again, might be Popeyes, or might be some kind of an event, or seeing people face to face, or calendars, a little fluffier, right? January might be the end of year recap. So we do a lot of market stats and a lot of data, and we do a little report for the whole year for 2023. So maybe January is your happy new year. Here's what happened last year. Here's what we're predicting is going to happen. Make sense? Okay, so for homework, you're going to assess where you are. If you've never done a connectivity plan, you want to do the next 4 to 6 months. If you are a connectivity planner, and I know who you are, so don't pretend, you're going to do the rest of this year and all of next year. Okay, cool. All right. So this I want you to read. By the way, I give you this workbook. I try to cover as much as I can. I never cover all of it because I'm always all over the place. For homework, you always want to review all of what's in the workbook and make sure you have seen everything that's going on. On this top-down planning page that everybody can see once you get past the connectivity plan is a bit of a budget. This is an Excel doc that Mike Kennelly made. It's really awesome. It allows you to manipulate the numbers based on your goals, your GCI goal. We'll send that out in the replay, Canna, if you're on the call. This will go out in the follow-up email that you can play around with if you'd like to use that. So now we're going to get to the points system, and then we're going to get everybody out of here. So this page here is the Summit Points system, okay? This is what we are doing every single week. So I hope you learned something, but even if you learn nothing, I really hope you do something. That's my honest perspective. I hope you learned something for sure, but more than learning, I hope you do something. This is where the magic happens. This is the work you're avoiding is right here on this page, okay? So this is how the points work. Not today. Thank you. We're on page 13.
We've lost your camera, but they can still hear you.
We've lost my camera and there's no page numbers. Cool. Okay. It's called the Summit 52-week proactive challenge. Okay, I'm gonna go quick because I think we're gonna lose this Wi-Fi in a second. Okay, so in the interest of the fact we're all sitting in the dark, I'm not gonna put you into groups right now, but by probably tomorrow or Monday, you're going to get groups. So you're gonna be in small groups of 4 or 5 for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's nice to have a friend. It's nice to have someone in the trenches with you. And it's also good for people to say, hey, I tried this. This is what happened to me. And then the person can say, oh, well, I did this, and this is how this happened to me. And really, it's a lonely business. So I think it's nice to have friends. So we're going to put you into small groups, which I will send probably over the weekend or on Monday morning. You're going to need to meet with your group, either face-to-face or on Zoom, before the next session. Okay? You're going to talk about the content. You're going to talk about the points. You can maybe some in groups past, in classes past, they've done like a group name, which is kind of funny. You can do a group name if you want, and you're going to work together over the next 5 to 6 weeks to generate as many points as you possibly can. The winning team makes the most.